Hey everybody. I've been thinking about this a lot. I've been thinking about this a lot since the election of Donald Trump. Been thinking about where do we go from here, how to move forward, what kind of policies should we expect, what type of policy we want to see come into reality, what type of America that we want to actually live in, and what type of policies that we're gonna stand up and say hell no to and block and take it to the streets to try to protest against. I'm a type of guy, I see the world as half full. I see the glass as half full. Hey, Holly, I see the glass as half full, not half empty. I'm determined to find a positive in a Donald Trump presidency because he's actually going to be our president. I'm determined to find a positive in it. And on one hand, I see a few maybe glimmers of hope. But then on the other hand, I see who he's stacking in his cabinet. I see just this disastrous waiting to happen that he's stacking in his cabinets. I see him putting the Rudy Giulianis of the world in his cabinets, who has said very racist things times too many. And I see Senator Jeff Sessions from my home state. And the only thing positive I can see in a Jeff Sessions being in a Trump cabinet, and maybe this coming from a selfish standpoint, at least he will no longer be the senator of Alabama anymore. This guy has been a senator probably since I have been in second grade. So on one hand, I want to try to find a glimmer of hope of a positive in a Donald Trump presidency, but on the other hand, then at the same time, I look and see who he's stacking in his cabinets, and I'm like, really, dude? Really? I mean, literally, he act like he's at a pickup game. You guys have played basketball before. You guys have probably had, what you call down before, where you're sitting up waiting to get in the game, and you want to get in the game so bad, and you believe in your own ability that you don't even care who you put on your team. You get out there, it's your turn, you be like, okay, I want you, and you. All right, let's go ball. That's okay for a pickup game. But that's not okay when you're president of the United States. That's not okay when you appoint a cabinet. And honestly, that's not necessarily how I pick my teams. Actually, I want to win. I'm just saying, I want to. When I get out there on the court, I want to hoop. I want to win. I want to shoot some jumpers. I want to win. I'm not gonna just throw anybody on my team. But now, this is what I said when I'm looking for a positive in Donald Trump presidency. On one hand, I ask myself, will a Donald Trump presidency end the politics of fear as we know it? So let's say, for example, if Donald Trump when Donald Trump becomes president, let's say he doesn't use the racist rhetoric that he used on the campaign trail, then I guess we all win. That means it's going to push politicians going forward that no longer will you be able to just say, this person's bad, vote for me, without laying any concrete policies on the table. That day will be over. You will have to tell us why we should vote for you. What are we voting for? And what you represent. That, in the politics of fear, is what has kept us in neutral for far too long. Am I optimistic that Donald Trump is going to push through some progressive policies? I'm not. Am I optimistic that that his election is going to unite the left to fight for a revolution in a way that they never had before? Hell yeah, I am. I am. That I'm actually confident about. I'm confident about that. So I'm confident that he will that will bring about that. So let's say, is it sheer brilliance that got this guy elected? Did he use sheer brilliance? Was it all a game and a tactic to say crazy things to bring out to get as many votes as possible? And now he's going to say, you know what? Now I don't need it anymore. So now I'm going to actually govern. So is it possible that it was brilliance that he used on the campaign trail, and is it possible that that's going to be applied to his presidency? If that's the case, then again, I guess we all win. But I'm not holding my breath. But I'm just saying, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that a Donald Trump presidency will unite the left, because I've heard some people out here that have never been a part of the process that are aggravated, that are upset with his presidency, and now they're saying things along the nature of saying things like, I'm going to make sure I'm voting on everything. I'm going to make sure I'm paying attention to every policy. I'm going to make sure I'm researching things for myself. I'm like, really? Wow. I didn't say anything. I just like, you know what? They're coming around to what you and I want them to actually come around to. So I'm not going to say, I told you so. Why would I? I'm going to let them completely think they came up with this conclusion on their own. Because the Donald Trump presidency was built by the DNC. It was built because the DNC gaslighted its own base. It disrespected its own base. It ignored its own base. It disrespected its voters, and now it has Donald Trump to show for it. Donald Trump presidency is the fruits of you guys' labor. It's the fruits of you guys' labor. So on one hand, I'm hopeful that this galvanized the base, that this get the base, and it gets those people out there serious, and they realize that they need to take us serious. They need to realize they need to take us serious, because all that talk that you gaslight us during the campaign was you guys run along. We know what's best for you guys. Guess what? You got Donald Trump to thank for your arrogance. Your arrogance and gaslighting us is what got Donald Trump elected president. And now, I'm going to say what Malcolm X once said. If there's any way that Donald Trump is the racist that he ran his campaign on, then guess what's going to happen? As Malcolm X said, by Goldwater. If Goldwater makes it to the White House, he will not be able to hide his racism. He will not be able to pretend to be our friends. It will make us stand up for things that we never fought for in a way we never had before. It will create a revolution that we've never seen before. So that's a positive by Donald Trump presidency. If Donald Trump tries to take us to war, there is no doubt in my mind that the left will unite against him in maximum opposition. So that's a positive that we can come away with from a Donald Trump presidency. Am I positive that, am I optimistic about his policies? I'm not. Am I optimistic about an infrastructure bill that he wants to push through? I am, because I want to see some deficit spending. I don't want to hear how we're going to pay for it. I don't want to hear about cutting taxes to pay for it. I don't want to hear about cutting spending to pay for it, because economics is king. And if we don't get serious about economics, then what are we fighting for? Everything that we're fighting for is going to blow up in flames. Every single thing. Every single policy proposal. Everything that we believe in our hearts is never going to come to pass if we continuously do to run our economy as if we're revenue constrained. We're not revenue constrained. We're the issue of our own currency, not the use of our currency. The federal government is the monopolist of its own currency. The federal government doesn't need your tax dollars to fund federal spending. Taxes don't fund federal spending. Congress funds federal spending. Congress is the only entity that can write money into existence. And we got to start putting pressure on these guys to write money into existence. And yeah, as I said before, the Tea Party Republicans, when they came into office in 2010, they got nothing done. But you know what? They didn't want to get anything done. So they was actually a success because they hijacked the Republican Party. They hijacked the Republican Party and stopped everything. Now, I don't agree with that tactic, but it's successful to them because you know what? They didn't want to pass anything. They didn't want to pass nothing. They didn't want to pass anything. So what you and I need to do is hijack the Democratic Party. Yeah, I'm going there. I'm really going to go there, and I really honestly do believe that. And that's not to say that we're going to be loyal to any party anymore, because we will support anyone with a real progressive agenda. We will support third parties. We will support anyone with a real progressive agenda, but we really and truly should hijack the Democratic Party. I don't see why we shouldn't. They need to know that they want our support. If they wanted our support, then guess what? You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to show us what you're going to do for us. What have you done for us lately? What are we voting for? What are we voting on? What are we going to get in return? And I'm not against supporting a Democratic candidate if they have a real progressive agenda. I'm going to go a step further. I'm not against supporting a Democratic candidate if they've been on the wrong side of history in the past, and now they want to be on the right side of history. I'm not against voting for them. I'm not against voting for a Democrat if they want to be progressive, just stay in office. I could care less. You want to vote for the right thing to stay in office? Fine. But we'll have our eye on you just to make sure you're doing the right thing. This is not necessarily about supporting one party, because we're independent. We're not loyal to a party. But what I'm saying is, let's not rule those people out. Let's not close them out. Let's not close them out on what they supported in the past, because that would disqualify me. To be honest with you, hell, before I was awake, I was for the damn war in Libya. You know what I'm saying? I was for the war in Libya. I always been against the TPP until I've really seen what was all about the TPP. So no, we cannot just rule out people because of because if we're looking for a perfect candidate, we're never going to get that. But we should never lower our standards for what we're willing to stand for, what we're willing to move on. There should be a red line in the sand, of course. But, I mean, am I going to actually demonize someone because they was on the wrong side of history and now they see the error of their ways and now they want to be on the right side of history? We're going to welcome them. Because if we don't welcome them, there's at one point, all of us has been on the wrong side of history before, at some point or another before we were awake. So let's give other people a chance to become awake too. Let's give them a chance. Well, am I going to give the Donald Trump presidency a chance? Of course. Do I expect anything? I don't know what to expect. He hasn't laid anything out. Do I expect a real progressive agenda? Hell no. We're going to have to fight like we never have fought before to keep them from rolling things back and to keep America going forward. That's how we're going to have to do it. So, yeah, I'm dead serious. We need to hijack the Democratic Party. So this stuff runs through us now. It runs through us, and things are going to be done on our term. Chanel, I agree. We don't need parties. We don't need parties. We are our own voice. But one thing that we do have now is leverage. Well, we showed them that we're not going to vote for someone just because they try to scare us into voting for them. We showed them that if you can force a candidate down our throat all you want to, and we're not going to vote for them. So gaslight us all you want to, and we will find an alternative each and every time. Gaslight us, ignore us, and we will find the next progressive standing, and we will vote for them. We have showed that we are willing to lose an election to fight for real change. So we will not be undermined like we were in this primary. We was undermined so badly in the primary they called us kids. But they forgot that it was kids that ended slavery. They called us kids, but they forgot that it was kids that fought for a civil rights bill. They forgot all those things. They either forgot or they didn't care. They were only concerned about getting Hillary Clinton elected. All they was caring about was, it's her turn. It's her turn to get her elected. That's what we fell short at. That's what we fell short at. So I'm hopeful going forward. I'm hopeful that a Donald Trump presidency end the politics of fear. I'm hopeful that the rhetoric that he used on the campaign trail is going to be something he's going to sit back and say, you know what? Now I don't need that anymore. Now I'm going to actually try to govern. I'm hopeful that the Democratic Party learned their lesson. I'm hopeful. Am I optimistic about it? I'm not. Am I optimistic about Trump? I'm not. Not when I look at not when I see who he's putting in his cabinet. Not when I see the Democratic Party out there talking about James Comey as the reason Hillary Clinton lost. When they still blame the thing on the FBI, I'm still not as actually optimistic. I'm not. But I'm just trying to find a glimmer of hope in this situation. But you know what though? That's what real progressive is about. If there's not a door there, we create one. If there's not the type of policy that we want in place, we make sure it gets in place. If there's not the type of things that we want to see come to pass, we make it happen. We make it happen and we do what the cynics said couldn't be done. In the face of all opposition, in the face of all people trying to demonize us, belittle us, we stand tall and we stand for our values. We don't get caught up in a cult of personality. We don't get caught up into party loyalty. We get caught up in the issues and the issues only. When your name and when your voice and what you believe in is always strapped to the issues, you cannot go wrong when you strap to the issues. Stick to the issues. Stick to who we are. And if anyone out there that wants to speak to the issues we care about, we support them. Anyone out there that want to stand up and fight for the issues we care about, we support them. Regardless if they are what party affiliation they are, we support them. Because we are for a progressive agenda at any cost. And what I mean by progressive agenda at any cost, if a Republican wants to fight for a real progressive agenda, we'll rock with it. I've never seen a progressive Republican, but you guys can feel free to let me know of one. Let me know of one if I'm leaving someone out. If the Democratic Party wants to put forth a real progressive agenda, we will rock with them. The Green Party wants to continue to push forth a real progressive agenda and actually get a ground game and put some leaders in the House, put some politicians in the Senate and in the House. We'll rock with them. This is all about real change, folks. It's real change. Real change at any cost. And what I mean by any cost, don't care what party you are. Don't care what you look like. Don't care who you are. That's what this is all about. The glass half full. So, I'm determined to find a positive in the Donald Trump presidency because he's actually going to be our president. Now, where I continue to get the hang up at is when I see Rudy Giuliani and Jeff Sessions in his cabinet, and Steve Bannon and those type clowns. We're gonna see. One thing for sure, we know we got each other, and we're not putting up for BS anymore. One thing for sure, we know that we're not gonna accept half-ass, and we're not ever gonna vote for the lesser of the two evils again. We're gonna stand up for our values and what we believe in our heart, because we've realized that if you vote for the things that if you vote out of fear, you get the exact same things you're afraid of. The exact same things. With that being said, I'm Kendall Sen Sullivan. I'm going to leave it there. Have a great day, guys. Peace, and I'm out.